Okay, today we're doing Module 3, Lesson 10, and this is the last lesson before our weekly check-in tomorrow, okay? And your learning goal is, I can use the commutative property of addition to help me add fractions. Now, the commutative property of addition, it has that word commute. When you think of commuting, you can think of going from one place to another. Do your parents often talk about like, oh, my commute was really long today to work? Have you guys ever heard that? A commute means traveling from one place to another. So the commutative property of addition, you can remember, means traveling or moving the numbers around when you're adding. That's why it's of addition. Does that make sense? Good. All right, so do you guys agree that 2 1/5 is the same thing as 2 plus 1/5? Do you guys agree? And 1 1/5 is 1 plus 1/5? Do you agree? So could I rewrite this problem as 2 plus 1/5 plus 1 plus 1/5? Could I? Yeah. Do you guys agree that this problem right here is the same as the original problem? Yeah. Okay. So using what we know about the commutative property of addition, what is the commutative property of addition? It says that we can move those numbers, we can commute them and move them around. So could I move them around into an order where I could think of all the whole numbers first and then all the fractions later? Yeah. Let's do that. So it'd be 2 plus 1, those are the whole numbers, and then the fractions are 1/5 plus 1/5. And now it's way easier to think about, right? What's 2 plus 1? 3. What's 1/5 plus 1/5? 2/5. Isn't that way easier to think about? Good. Okay, if I break up 2 and 4/5, it'd be 2 plus 4/5. And then if I break up 1 and 1/2, it'd be 1 plus 1/2. Do you agree? Yeah? Okay, let's use the commutative property to group all the whole numbers together. What are my whole numbers? 2 plus 1. Now let's group the fractions together. What do I have? 4/5 plus 1/2. Now this time I can't just add because I have different denominators, right? My one denominator is 5 and one denominator is 2. But what I can do is I can list out those common multiples to find the least common denominator. So let's do that first for 5. Let's count by 5s. Ready, go. 5, 10. Okay, let's stop. Now let's count by 2s. Ready, go. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. What's my lowest or least common or the same number? 10. So now let's rewrite those fractions. Instead of 5 and 2 as a denominator, what denominator should we use? 10. So 4/5 is going to be equal to how many tenths? 8, right? Because I multiplied both the top and the bottom by 2. Multiplying by 2 over 2 is really multiplying by what number? 1. So does that change the value? No. What about 1/2? 1/2 is going to be equal to how many tenths? 5. So now I can rewrite this problem. 2 plus 1 plus 8 tenths plus 5 tenths. What's 2 plus 1? 3. If I have 8 tenths and I add 5 more tenths, what do I get? 13 tenths. Is that more than 1/10? Yeah. I mean 1? How many tenths does it take to make 1? 10. So this is the same thing as 3 plus 10 tenths plus 3 tenths. Do you agree? Yeah. And this is the same as what? 1. So this is equal to 4 and 3 tenths.